is our house, man. It's our house. And don't you forget it. All night long we play for each other. We play for each other because we control the outcome.
This is our division. We know it, and they know it. So let's go get our respect. Again, tonight.
Pre-game emotions run high at the Georgia Dome. We bring you to Atlanta for our Thursday night football. NFC South, the New Orleans Saints against the Atlanta Falcons. As you take a look at the playoff race, the Falcons have the best record in the NFC, tied with the Houston Texans for the best record in the NFL. There's still hope for the Saints, but those hopes are fading. Welcome, everybody. I'm Brad Nussler with Mike Mayock. These two franchises came in back-to-back years in the mid-'60s. Quite frankly, they haven't enjoyed each other's company very much ever since. The Falcons are 10-1, partner, and even people in this city that are fans are wondering about that 10-1 record. They've won 7 of those games by 7 points or less, and I don't know if there's been a team get less respect at 10-1 than the Falcons.
Dude, it's hard to be 10-1 in this league. That's unbelievable. But if there's a criticism of the Mike Smith, Matt Ryan era, it's that they're 0-3 in the playoffs and a general inability to win a big game. To me, partner, huge game tonight. Number one, you get an opportunity to stick a dagger right in the throat of the playoff hopes of your most hated rival. And I think more importantly, in that locker room, they've got to believe they can take the next step. If you can't beat New Orleans in your building in a big game tonight, I don't believe you can win in the playoffs.
The Saints are hoping for the playoffs. We talked to Drew Brees yesterday. He said there's very little room for error. There isn't any room.
Yeah, and they're coming off a brutally physical game 4 days ago against San Francisco, but I think we're going to get their best football game. They're confident, let's face it. They've won 8 of the last 10 against Atlanta, so there's a certain swagger when they walk into this building. Secondly, I don't really care what the math says. If New Orleans loses tonight, effectively, they're out of the playoffs. And finally, New Orleans gets their right tackle back, Zach Strief. Shore up the protection for that guy right there, Drew Brees.
We're almost set for the 88th meeting between the Falcons and the Saints. Before we do, we check in third member of our team, Alex Flanagan.
Hey, Brad, well, just to give you an idea of how intense this rivalry has become, last night when the Saints got off of their plane, they were sitting on their team bus on the tarmac and started feeling and hearing things hitting their bus. They looked down, they saw egg dripping down the window. That's right, Brad, they were egged. Their bus was egged by Atlanta Falcons fans. Now, I've been scrambling all day to get to the bottom of this story. Brad and Mike, you will be happy to know that the Saints say they will not be cracked by this incident.
Well, here we go. Atlanta won the toss. They will receive. Tonight's game available in HD and in Spanish on your SAP channel. There's an electricity in the Georgia Dome at kickoff. Here we go. Jacquizz Rodgers will have to watch this one go out the back of the end zone, and Atlanta will start from its own 20-yard line. Never before had the Falcons started off 8-0. Best start in team history. 7 wins, as I mentioned, by 7 or less. And the only bump in the road, the only loss in all of that, you guessed it, to the hated Saints 3 weeks ago. So Matt Ryan and the Falcons offense, which has been very good on opening drives this year, will line up at the 20-yard line. And last time out, Matt, 411 yards and 3 touchdowns in a losing effort. And that 100.7 rating, the first time ever with a 100 rating and a loss. And he throws and he's hit on first down and it's almost intercepted. Tony Gonzalez caught it though. Malcolm Jenkins, I thought, was going to steal the football, and somehow number 88 came out of there with it.
Yeah, it's a rookie right here. Peter Kantz, a second-round pick from Wisconsin. He's going to struggle with Cedric Ellis. Nice move, big rip. He gets a piece, and let's give Gonzalez a ton of credit here. Malcolm Jenkins probably should have had the pick. He had position. Gonzalez powers through it and makes the catch.
And they end up with an 8-yard gain, almost 9.
And they're the kind of things that can change games early, Brad.
Exactly. Tony Gonzalez had 11 catches the first time around between these two teams. Second down and 2, and the stretch play to Michael Turner, and Turner into the secondary. Something the Falcons have been looking for. Turner at midfield. All the way down to the 36-yard line. And Michael Turner, much maligned in recent weeks by these fans that are cheering deliriously, goes for 35 yards.
Yeah, and they have not been as much a fullback team. Mike Cox right here. Watch what happens up in the hole. Kahns, the right guard, is going to get to the second level. Claybo with a good block, and there's the cut And I really believe Jacquizz Rodgers might be a better fit for this offense, what it's morphed into, but you can't deny the power running of Michael Turner.
Mike, they're within 11 yards of their rushing total the last time they played on one play. First down at the 36. It'll be Turner again. And Turner again pulls his way 5 more to the 31. Offensively for the Falcons. Up front, Todd McClure closing in on 200 starts at that center spot. Been there since '99. Backs and receivers. Turner off to a great start. And then it's Tony Gonzalez with Julio Jones, Harry Douglas, and Roddy White. Quite a wide receiver core. One of the best around. Jacquizz Rodgers has checked in for the first time on second down and 5. Rodgers comes up. I think they get the snap count from Ryan. At the 31. The stretch play to Rodgers. Nice cutback. Jacquizz Rodgers inside the 20 and down to the 16-yard line. Just like that, the Falcons already in the red zone. A pickup of 14.
Yeah, and Jonathan Vilma has a chance to make a play because the left tackle Baker's going to chip and get on him. Vilma has to make this tackle. This is why I like Jacquizz Rodgers. You stick your foot in the ground. Now watch him get up the field right there. Good block by the center, McClure, and Brad, completely different look this game than Week 10. The ability to run the football, to me, can be a huge difference and take the pressure off Matt Ryan.
Falcons 5 touchdowns on opening drive, tied for best in the league. They'd love one here to open things up on their home field. Rodgers waits for his blockers. Clears Rodgers inside the 10 and down to the 4.
Oh, man. Keep in mind, New Orleans is number 32 in the league against the run. And Justin Blaylock and Todd McClure do a wonderful job here, and Wiz picks the correct hole. Watch the pull out. Here comes the fullback. Right there, great block at the point of attack on Hawthorne to cut upside. That boy, I'll tell you what, that offensive line is chewing up the front 7 in New Orleans. Something they didn't do in the first meeting. And now they set up shop. First and goal at the 3. 68 yards rushing already for the Falcons. Turner waits, buries himself in the end zone. Touchdown, Atlanta. For about 3 weeks, everybody's been asking what's wrong with Michael Turner. I think he just said nothing. And you've heard me all week saying that I think Jacquizz Rodgers is a better fit, but I like the way they complemented each other on that drive. So the Falcons, the 6th time this year they've scored a touchdown in their opening march. 80 yards in just 6 plays. Matt Bryant for the extra point. Most of the fans haven't even found their seat yet. Michael Turner, a 35-yarder. Then Jacquizz Rodgers chewed up big yardage. Down to first and goal, and number 33 goes 3. 7-0 Atlanta. Full night in Atlanta, and what a start for the hometown team. The Falcons go 80 yards in 6 plays, and Michael Turner with his 7th rushing touchdown of the year. We talked about 46 yards in Week 10, 71 on the opening drive, Mike. And let's go back to that first play, Brad. Ball gets tipped up in the air off Cedric Ellis, and if Tony Gonzalez doesn't make the play there, it might be 1st and 10 for New Orleans in the red zone. Bosher's kickoff. And Cadet stepped on the back line, so they'll bring it out to the 20-yard line. The Saints had an awful start this year without their head coach Sean Payton. They lost 4 straight, and then Drew Brees and company came back strong. Beat the Chargers, and he got his 48th straight game with a touchdown pass to break Johnny Unitas' mark. And in the last 7 games, losses to Denver and San Francisco. And as Mike said, that loss to San Francisco was a bruiser of a game. So they come in having lost their last game, but they've won 4 straight in this matchup. And you heard what Drew Brees said on the field in the pregame. This is our division. We know it, and they know it. We'll find out in the next 3 hours who owns it tonight. Mark Ingram, the setback. Quick throw, tipped in the air, incomplete. Luckily for the Saints, John Abraham got a hand on it.
and nobody else in the secondary could find it.
And that's what's known as a smoke. This is a run play to this side. Drew Brees decides one step because he's got soft and off on the other side. If Abraham doesn't make that, and I think he gets hit right in the helmet. He gets doinked in the helmet right here. Watch. Through the hands, bang, up in the air. That's a big play by Abraham because Colston had it out on the edge.
John Abraham telling us it's not necessarily sacking Drew Brees. You just got to alter what he does in that pocket, and he's trying to alter it right now. The throw's complete to the fullback, but he's going to be buried at the line of scrimmage. Ball came out at the end as Witherspoon and Dante Robinson make the stop. Offensively for the Saints, here's the group that protects Drew Brees, and had done a pretty good job of it until last week against the 49ers. Backs and receivers. He spreads it around to Colston, Henderson, and Moore and Graham, who chewed Atlanta up 3 weeks ago with 146 yards and a couple of touchdowns. So immediately the Saints have a 3rd and long on their opening march.
Locate that tight end. He's right.
Clock winding down. Just got the snap away. Brees going to go deep middle. Man out there and caught. What a grab by Joseph Morgan. On 3rd and 8, they get 38.
Really well done concept and a great throw because they end up effectively getting one-on-one with Juan Samuel. The safety's in quarters coverage. He's got to stay low. Look where that football's put. There's no help. Just a great throw and catch.
And Asante Samuel already out with that arm dangling. Remember, he hurt his shoulder last week in the final play of the Tampa Bay win.
And they're really thin at corner already. Chris Owens in the game in corner, and the nickelback is Robert McLean.
On the ground, Pierre Thomas for a couple. The Falcons defensively, we've already seen what John Abraham can do. The leading sack artist actively in the National Football League with that group with him. Linebacking core, Sean Witherspoon didn't play in the last game against the Saints, and he's a difference maker, especially against the run. Now, we talked about the back end, Asante Samuel already out, and that makes the Falcons secondary, as Mike said, very, very thin.
And in that first matchup, Darren Sproles didn't play either. He had a broken hand.
Ready for 90.
2nd and 7. Play action for Brees. Drew loads and goes deep, and it's intercepted. Falcons pick it off in the end zone. Thomas Deku with his 5th of the year. End zone interception gives it back to Atlanta. And the Saints, just when they were marching, make their first mistake of the first quarter.
Big play by safety Thomas Deku, who's going to rotate to the middle of the field as they go to a 3-deep alignment. Brees is late with this throw. You'll see number 23, Dante Robinson, trailing. That ball's got to come out earlier if you're going to make that throw. Safety was not held by any other route.
3rd time this year Brees has been intercepted on an opening drive. Gives it back to Matt Ryan and the Falcons. Little toss to Jacquizz Rodgers. Dances in the hole and picks up close to 3. Cameron Jordan in on the stop.
Feel like we got our first chance to take our breath here, Brad.
Well, the Falcons took it down the field in less than 4 minutes to get their touchdown. And as I mentioned, I think everybody is about ready to settle into their seats. This guy has really played some great football this year, Thomas Deku.
And they've been a little suspect on the back end, and he needs to be the glue to that group, and that's his 5th interception of the season.
On 2nd down, Ryan scans the field, running out of time. Gonna have to throw this one away. And it brings up 3rd down and long.
Smart play. And in the first game, when you watch the tape, there was some immediate pressure up the middle, which is what bothers a quarterback more than anything. And again on that play, they're having some trouble with the interior part of their offensive line. And again on that play, immediate pressure for the 2nd time tonight by Cedric Ellis.
Falcons, a good team on 3rd down. 48% is 2nd best in the league. Julio Jones comes in motion to a slot on the left side. And Ryan in the shotgun on 3rd and 7 will face An extra rusher going down the sideline to Roddy White. And he almost made a one-handed catch, looking for a flag, and doesn't get one.
They do a nice job of picking up an overload blitz. Spagnuolo loves the overload on 3rd and 3 to 8. That's got 3rd and 8. It's a one-on-one on the edge. Now there's a lot of contact out there. See right there, that looks like an arm bar to me by Patrick Robinson.
That's what Roddy White thought too. Matt Bosher in to kick. And Darren Sproles, and Mike mentioned it, didn't play in the first game, back on the receiving end. He's going to have to call for a fair catch around the 33-yard line. 44-yard kick, no return. Drew Brees set to return to the field here in Atlanta. His team down 7-0 first quarter. Tomorrow on NFL Total Access, Ravens linebacker Terrell Suggs joins us to talk about the big matchup with the Steelers on Sunday. Also, full previews of the most important Sunday games and the playoff implications involved. Catch NFL Total Access tomorrow, 7 Eastern, only on NFL Network. Matt Ryan having a look at the pictures on the sideline. He's giving it back to Drew Brees and company. Asante Samuel back there on the sideline, out with a bad shoulder. We'll talk more about that in a second. Ivory, he's going to go down for a loss back at the 29-yard line. Robert McClain made first contact. Let's check in with Alex.
Brad, you mentioned Asante Samuel is sitting on the bench after he took that big hit. He came off of the field with his right arm right down by his side. Obviously the shoulder injured. He has been sitting on the bench with a towel covering his head most of the time as his teammates come over and console him. Mike Smith just came over and gave him a pat on the back. Of course, he's had that shoulder contusion, re-injured it against Tampa Bay. Doesn't look good, although the team is calling it questionable right now.
All right, Alex, thank you. Second down at 14. Breeze and incomplete, intended for Devery Henderson. That'll bring up third down and 14.
And when you lose Asante Samuel, what do? You attack the guy that came in for him, and that time Christopher Owens did a real nice job. One thing so far New Orleans has done, they've had an extra offensive lineman in the game for most of the game, number 69, who's their backup guard, Eric Olsen.
Trying to give Drew Brees the protection he needs. He's going to need it here. Third down at 14. Falcons bring the blitz. Brees throws, completes, first down. Marcus Colston out of bounds with a first down and a big throw. Pickup of 15.
Big blitz and an excellent pickup here. Watch what happens. Witherspoon here comes through. Left guard. Ben Grubb's just waiting for him. That gives Brees plenty of time. They're playing a little bit of man behind. Thomas Deku gets a little bit soft there, and that's just a really good timing on that route between Brees and Colston.
First down at the 44. Thomas and Sproles both in the backfield with Brees. And they'll give it off on the inside, and met at midfield by William Moore is Pierre Thomas. Moore in his third year out of Missouri, and he and Witherspoon both out of Mizzou, run stoppers. Second down at 4, right at the midfield stripe. 6 minutes remaining first quarter. Atlanta scored on their opening march in the first 4 minutes. If you missed it, Michael Turner, a 3-yard touchdown. Short gain for Chris Ivory. Vance Walker was the first guy there defensively for Atlanta.
Really good job holding the point over Brian De La Puente, the center for the New Orleans Saints. Vance Walker, their biggest defensive tackle, did a nice job being stout there.
Third down and short. A couple to go for the Saints at the Atlanta 48-yard line.
Brad, I'm a big believer that the New Orleans Saints are their best when they can run the football. When they're a downhill physical run team, it makes things a lot easier for that play action. Here we are, 3rd and 2, and they're in a one-back shotgun situation.
Breeze sends Lance Moore wider to the right. Looks that way. Throws the slant, but threw it behind him. Incomplete.
Yeah, you know, it's a double slant, and Colston's wide open. I thought he was going to take the shorter throw right in here. He had it, but it looks like he predetermines, even though there's an inside leveraged corner there. I think the throw was to the number 2 receiver that time, Colston.
Thomas Morstead in to punt. That's Dominic Franks for Atlanta. Back at the 10-yard line. High end over end kick. Franks has to call fair catch and get out of the way. And this is going to be inside the 10-yard line. 4:55 remaining first quarter. Full moon over Atlanta. It's like a giant pumpkin over the dome. You see the Capitol, the Gold Dome here in Atlanta. And inside the Georgia Dome, Matt Ryan and the Falcons offense. Third time up for them, and this time inside their own 10-yard line, starting at the 8. Michael Turner right at the Falcon goal line, and the Atlanta backfield will get the call. And Turner again with a big run. 12 more yards for Michael Turner. Completely different looking guy than we've seen the last 3 weeks and quite frankly much of the season.
Yeah, and look again at the combination of these two blocks, okay? And Turner does a great job. First the right tackle, Claybo, then the fullback. Look at right here. That edge is won. The offense wins right there. Turner understands it, drops the pad level, and Brad breathing room on the 20-yard line.
And 55 yards already for Turner. They'll stay with him. Turner again into the secondary. Another 12 yards for Michael Turner. And all of a sudden it's more like Michael Burner Turner instead of the guy that everybody's been complaining about around here.
Yeah, and they're collapsing the backside down here. Gonzalez, watch the cutback. Gonzalez just gets in the way here, just enough. Block is read correctly by Turner, and we're back to the future here, folks.
Jacquizz Rodgers clears out of the Atlanta backfield on first down from the 32. Straight drop for Matt Ryan. Pump fakes one way, had the ball tipped, I think, trying to throw a slant back to Julio Jones. And it looked like the trajectory of that ball changed when it hit the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, I think you're right there. He did a nice job pumping and coming back to the seam. And I think it was Bunkley, defensive tackle. I'm not sure, but I thought it was Bunkley. There's, yep, gets those hands up. The ball's deflected. He had Julio Jones.
Everything he wanted except that guy's paw in the way. Second down and 10.
Goal 38! Goal 38! Goal 38! Easy.
Matt Ryan changing things up. Saw what might be a blitz coming off the corner. Time running out on the play clock. They will blitz. Ryan pump fakes one way, steps up and goes deep. Well covered man out there is Harry Douglas. Malcolm Jenkins was back there defensively for New Orleans.
Yeah, they knew Elbert Mack was coming off the edge, but they continue to get pressure up the middle, which is bothering Matt Ryan. He went pump fake to his left side, and then he comes all the way back. Really good coverage, though, by Jenkins. Hip to hip, inside leverage. And that's just really a good job by Harry Douglas, even though he's the wide receiver on offense, becoming a defensive back and knocking the football away.
And Mikey got his legs tangled up a little bit with Jenkins, and Harry Douglas limped off the field for Atlanta. Matt Ryan's missed his last 4 passes. That one is in and out of the hands of Julio Jones. Should have had it. And it's 4th down.
They're getting
back-to-back
a lot of pressure,
situations.
A lot of pressure on Matt Ryan early in the pass game. I don't know if this ball was hit at the line of scrimmage or not, but it's a little high, but still you drafted Julio at number 6 and traded up to get him to make that catch.
And Julio knows it, talking to himself on the sideline. So Sproles back, waiting on Matt Bosher's kick. High kick. Sproles has to fair catch this one as well. Ran into his own man. Nobody touched the ball. Now it's scooped up by Patrick Robinson. And Robinson gets it back around the 17-yard line.
I think there was a fair catch signal given there. I'm not sure that ball can be advanced.
I'm not sure if it hit Bush either. We'll check on it when we come back. 7-0 Atlanta. Sunday's NFL Network's got the most complete pregame coverage on television. Wake up at 7 a.m. First on the field, live reports and latest info from all the game sites. Game day morning at 9. Did 49er head coach Jim Harbaugh make the right decision on his quarterback? We'll take a closer look at that. And then first on the field and game day morning. All starts Sunday, 7 o'clock Eastern on NFL Network. Mike Smith in his 5th year, winningest coach in Falcons history. And Joe Vitt, interim head coach of the Saints. So the Saints start from the 12-yard line. Mark Ingram, the single setback, will get the carry. And the former Heisman Trophy winner backpedals his way out around the 18-yard line.
You know, Brad, the more I look at the NFL over the last 8-10 years, it seems like wherever Mike Nolan goes, good defense follows. And they give up a fair amount of yards, but right now they're number 6 in the league in points allowed, and that's really the only statistic that matters. He's so solid, and I think what he does best is he takes advantage of each player's strengths and tailors something for him.
They stay on the ground, and out to the 20 is Ingram again, a pickup of 3. It'll be 3rd down and 2.
Now remember, their last 3rd and 2, what they do? They spread the field, they threw the football. And again, I believe they're at their best when they're physical, downhill, and can run the football, because that generates movement in their play action game also.
Pete Carmichael, the offensive coordinator. And let's see what he's drawing up on 3rd down and 2. 3 wideouts. And Graham basically in the backfield. And now he's on the move. Haven't thrown one his way yet. Breeze hit from behind and the ball comes out. Falcons are going to play to the whistle here. And it's going to be called an incomplete pass. Breeze hit by Croy Bierman from behind.
Yeah, we talked about Zach Strief returning to the starting lineup and how difficult they had a time last week. Well, Strief on Bierman. Bierman with just a pure speed rush gets pushed by Breeze, but because the ball doesn't come out, he's got an opportunity to get re-involved. Ball clearly coming forward, and it's an incomplete pass.
So a 3 and out for New Orleans, and Morstead to kick. This one should be returnable. Franks got across the 45 on a flag down.
Good hit by Will Herring, too, on that. One of their better special teams player in the league.
Flag was on the far side, way back where Franks was set to return it for Atlanta. Kind of an odd spot for a penalty marker. Seemed like the flag came out before he even caught it. Scott Green is our referee. He's talking to Mike Smith about whether or not he wants to take the punt return where it was.
Player out of bounds, kicking team, 5-yard penalty, number 44. 5 yards will be added to the end of the play. First down.
So the Falcons get the return and an extra 5, and that's going to put it in Saints territory with 1:36 remaining in the first quarter. Tonight's aerial coverage is presented by America's Navy. The bright lights here in near December in Atlanta, Georgia. Matt Ryan is 1 out of 6 for 9 yards.
They're running the ball well, but immediate pressure on Ryan in the pass game.
Matt's going to throw on first down in the flat, wide open. Mike Cox, the fullback. They don't use the fullback a lot. The guy that played at Georgia Tech here in his 5th season in the NFL with an 8-yard reception.
Good job by Tony Gonzalez running through Hawthorne, the linebacker who had coverage on Cox. Just gave him a couple extra steps.
Before that completion, Gonzalez had the only other catch of the night, and that was off that deflected ball that was almost picked off by the Saints secondary on the opening series that kept the drive alive that led to the 80-yard touchdown. Quick slants, complete Inside the 35 is Julio Jones. Pickup of 7, and they'll move the chains.
Hey, Brad, you said earlier that Matt Ryan threw the ball 52 times in their first meeting, Week 10. He's thrown it 52 times each of the last 3 times they've played. And
That's
it's
amazing.
no coincidence they went 0-3 in that time frame. So for them starting out running the football so effectively, now they got to get the pass game going.
Final half minute, first quarter. Ryan, quick throw down the middle. Julio Jones lost the ball and then caught it a second time. First down at the 16. Julio Jones adding a little drama to the end of that catch.
It really a nice route combination there with he and Gonzalez on the same side of the field.
First quarter, 2 old rivals in the NFC South. Falcons try to prove that this is their house. First quarter belonged to them anyway. End of 1, 7-0 Atlanta. Mike, do we give Julio Jones 2 catches on this play?
Good hit by Harper. Ball gets released. Look at the hand. Secures the catch.
Great concentration.
I really believe when they drafted him, when Thomas Dimitroff and Mike Smith said that's our guy, and they moved from 27 up to 6 in the first round to get him, their entire philosophy changed. They're a pass-first team. They've morphed into a one-back set, even though tonight they've changed up and going 2 backs, which has been a big part of their game plan.
First down, back in the red zone for Atlanta. Tony Gonzalez on the move from the 16. Toss sweep. Jacquizz Rodgers. And Quiz runs into Jonathan Vilma. And a loss of a yard.
Yeah, good job stringing out. Vilma was one of those guys. Defensive end on that side. Cameron Jordan did a nice job. They strung it out all the way to the sideline.
Saints are last in the league in total defense, giving up 455 yards a game. And as you said this morning in our meeting, doesn't look that bad on tape.
It really doesn't. They fly to the football. I think they struggled early in the year. And you know what it is, Brad? It's a ton of big plays, even in the run game, that kind of skew the numbers a little bit.
Second down, 11. Matt Ryan at the gun. Deep for the end zone. Got it. Touchdown, Tony Gonzalez. Wow. And there's a dunk upcoming. Nope, just a little reverse layup. 17 yards, touchdown.
You know, it's got to be an alert red zone, Tony Gonzalez. I mean, every time they get in the red zone, he had 11 catches in Week 10 against this team, and he's going to end up working on Lofton. Lofton can't handle this by himself. With his back to the quarterback, he's got no shot. That, to me, that's a great job offensively and taking advantage of a mismatch, but defensively, I don't believe you can be in that coverage in the red zone. Either there's a bust or it's a bad call, because Lofton cannot cover that guy in the red zone.
7th touchdown catch of the year for Tony Gonzalez. And the future Hall of Famer goes up over a former teammate in Curtis Lofton, who played 5 years here in Atlanta. And it's 14-0 if the extra point is good. Wow. Matt Bryant in. High snap. The kick is good. Falcons out to make a statement on their home field. Matt Ryan was perfect on that drive. 4 for 4 for 50 yards, and Tony Gonzalez 17 yards, touchdown. Falcons 14-0. Matt Ryan comes over to the old veteran Tony Gonzalez. Big smiles. 7th touchdown catch for Tony on the year. Hi, Mom. On his way to the Hall of Fame whenever he decides to retire. Nobody's ever done it better from that position. Second only to Jerry Rice in NFL history in receptions. That was number 1,220. Cadet back deep for the Saints. Falcons had a 10-0 lead in Week 10 against New Orleans and let it get away at the Superdome. Saints don't want that to happen on the road. Cadet knocked down before he can get to the 15-yard line. Antoine Smith on the special teams with a stop. Reminder, wake up with NFL AM, the only morning show dedicated to the NFL. Tomorrow morning, Texans tight end Owen Daniels joins us to talk about Houston's drive for the top spot in the playoffs. Plus the Giants, Chase Blackburn discusses the big showdown with the Redskins. Wake up, first look at the NFL news, information, and highlights leading to our weekend games. Don't miss NFL AM tomorrow and every weekday morning, 6 a.m. Eastern, only on NFL Network. Set your alarm.
How about Houston? Are they as disrespected nationally as Atlanta has been despite their 10-1 record?
I agree with you, partner. Drew Brees on first down. Quick throw to Graham, the tight end, his first catch. And a first down as Jimmy slides out 12 yards, and the Saints will move the sticks.
Jimmy Graham in line that time, and one of the things I think Pete Carmichael does a great job with, and here comes some tempo. Down 14-0. Drew Brees is going to take control at the line of scrimmage.
Thomas off the right side, got about 3. Jonathan Babineau in on the tackle defensively for Atlanta. They've been down before and come back 3 times, double digits, down 14 here in the first half. Again, no huddle. Second down and 7 to Brees in the gun. Drew scans the field, comes back to his other tight end, Higgins, who got belted by Dante Robinson. And a loss of 3. Tell you what, this is a corner that'll come up and hit you.
This kid will absolutely ring your bell. Free agent signing, probably been some criticism nationally. Look at the hit right there. By the way, Higgins, the kid that caught the football, was just activated off the practice squad yesterday because of an injury to their backup tight end.
Pat Thomas.
David Thomas.
David Thomas, beg your pardon. 3rd and 10.
Where Mike Nolan likes to heat you up here. They've got their sub package in the game.
And whistles before the snap.
Delay of the game, offense, number 9, 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
And that's going to be 3rd down at 15. Saints change up personnel, bring in Sproles and Devery Henderson to the huddle on 3rd down and long. And this place will come unglued right here. I'm talking about the fans.
I would say alert Sproles, alert screen game here. Some kind of check down, see what you can get.
Empty backfield. Brees on 3rd and long. Running out of time. Bierman from behind. He got the throwaway, but it's incomplete, intended for Colston. And the Saints will have to punt.
Bierman does a nice job here beating Bushrod, who was inside and flushing the pocket. See it right in here. There comes the twist. He beats Bushrod. Now, this ball's got to be caught. Is it thrown a little behind them? Yeah, but that ball has got to be caught by Marcus Colston.
Morstead off the side of his foot. Takes a bounce in front of Franks, and he has to let it go. As the Saints did a good job getting down there covering. Didn't look like it was going to be a very good punt, but it ended up being 53 yards. Matt Ryan has a touchdown pass. So does Michael Turner. So does Tony Gonzalez. 14-0 Atlanta. Falcons could not have scripted the first 19 minutes any better. 14-0. And they got it again offensively at the 28-yard line. Michael Turner. It'll cut back in the hole. This time the Saints wrap him up after a pickup of about a yard as we check in with Alex.
Well, Brad, the Saints stopping Michael Turner on that one, but the Falcons came into this game realizing that they had to run the ball better than they did last time against this team. They ran the ball pretty well against Tampa, and they said it was as good as they've really been able to run it in the last month. But they said against this team last time, they didn't get into the end zone, that they couldn't settle for field goals. Michael Turner looking for the game that a lot of people here, as you guys have mentioned, have been waiting for him to have.
He comes out. Jason Snelling in the Atlanta backfield for the first time. Roddy White in motion and now settles in on 2nd down and 8. Play fake to Snelling. Ryan throws.
Oh, man.
Roddy White probably should have had it.
Yeah.
Jabari Greer was covering.
This is a heavy play action fake. It's a 2 wide receiver route. You're going to see over here, and it's well thrown. Heavy play action. Good pickup by the tailback on the linebacker. The ball's well thrown. Got to catch that football. I mean, that's the bottom line.
Second look, it looked like it was a little bit in front of Roddy, but I think he'd agree with you that that's one that he can catch. He's caught a ton of them for the Falcons from Matt Ryan in his career. 3rd down and 8. Falcons balance 11 rushes, 11 passes. Here comes number 12. The throw is complete to Snelling. Puts his head down, but took a pop from Harper and Lofton. He got 9.
Good job defense. Forced the check down, and then you've got to rally up and tackle, and it was Lofton that came in and cleaned it up when it looked like Snelling might have enough momentum to get the first down.
Lofton, a guy that signed as a free agent with the Saints after being with the Falcons. He had 167 tackles for this Atlanta team wearing this uniform in this building last year before moving on to the arch rival Saints. Bosher set to punt. A lot of shifting around on the Saints front.
They're coming.
Bosher, towering punt. Sproles takes it at the 13. Got the corner. Sproles down the sideline. Nice return by Darren Sproles. And Bosher's the guy that had to knock him out of bounds. Good job by the punter. It might have been bigger than the 21-yard return it was. Drew Brees so far the undisputed leader of this team, but he hasn't been able to lead them to any points so far tonight on the road. Falcons had perfection going until they played New Orleans in Week 10. That was their first and only loss. Tonight at home they lead by 14 as the Saints line up at their own 35-yard line. Drew Brees, play action. Throws short, and it's intercepted by Weatherspoon, and the Falcons have got it back. Second interception thrown by Brees tonight.
It's heavy play action, and they're looking to take a deep shot. But Atlanta does a great job with their deep coverage, and now watch Spoon react to the throw. The ball's kicked in the air. Excellent job by Weatherspoon, being alert, not just making the tackle, but being alert, seeing the football pop loose away from Chris Ivory.
Off Ivory's shoulder pad and into the waiting hands of the Falcons linebacker. And now they take over at the 29-yard line. Do the Falcons take a shot here?
I wouldn't be surprised to see a big play action fake and a 2-receiver route.
Hey, go Arthur! Go Arthur! Go Arthur! Go Arthur!
Ryan will give it off to Turner. Trying to get to the corner. Cut down over there by Patrick Robinson.
A better job that time by Patrick Robinson. When the wide receiver Julio Jones goes in for a crack, he comes up, replaces, and makes the tackle.
Under 9.5 minutes, first half. Atlanta leading on a Matt Ryan to Tony Gonzalez touchdown and a Michael Turner touchdown run.
You notice how they're huddling up, taking their time offensively. They want to slow this game down and limit the snaps for Drew Brees. Not the up-tempo, no huddle to reduce them.
Here comes a blitz. Ryan, quick throw is high for Gonzalez. Incomplete.
And another ball, not a great throw from an accuracy. I think both quarterbacks are getting a lot of pressure and are off slightly, but a lot of these balls can be caught. I mean, is that a difficult catch? Yeah, it's off his fingertips. Matt Ryan's high and outside on that one.
Is it one Tony Gonzalez makes 9 out of 10 times?
Yeah, I agree.
Probably.
Yeah.
Falcons haven't converted on third down yet. Here they've got 3rd and 8.
Better double team 88.
He's in one slot, Julio Jones in the other. Ryan loads and goes near sideline. Harry Douglas too far out in front, incomplete. That'll bring out Matt Ryan.
Single high coverage, man-to-man. Albert Mack did a real nice job.
Matt Bryant, until the last 3 weeks or so, almost never misses field goals for Atlanta. He missed a chip shot, and I mean a chip shot, against Tampa Bay last week, and another one that was definitely in his range. This will be a 45-yard attempt to try to get his 27th successive field goal of the year. Matt Ryan trying to make it 17-0. Kick on the way, and it's good. Atlanta adds to its lead. 8:53 remaining, first half. Witherspoon with the interception. The Falcons lead 17-0. For Breeze tonight, Mike.
Yeah, and I can't emphasize how well coached this defense is. Breeze can't move the free safety out of the middle of the field. They go with the interception. Look at the pressure. Bierman, relentless from behind. And finally, play action, nothing deep. He checks it down. Bad throw to the back shoulder. Witherspoon makes the catch. Drew Brees on the sideline. Is he rattled? Nah, I'm good.
I'm good.
I'm good. 17-0, big boy. Game's on your shoulders right now.
And he knows it. 2 interceptions. Remember, he had 2 returned for touchdowns last week in the loss to the 49ers. This kick won't be returnable. So the Saints will start at the 20-yard line as we check in with Alex.
Brad, it's been a pretty rough 5 days for Drew Brees. You mentioned the 2 pick sixes against the 49ers in that game, a physical one that it was. He was sacked 5 times. Of course, comes into this game and has the 2 turnovers already after he threw the second interception. He just stood on the sidelines watching the Jumbotron kind of shaking his head. Just want to remind you of something, Brad, that you pointed out at the beginning of the show. Drew came into this game saying that they were playing with a sense of urgency and that they had no room for errors.
So far, too many errors. A tough 1 yard for Mark Ingram. The Saints, their first 5 possessions, an interception, 3 punts in a row, and another interception. Unlike a team that averages 28 points a game.
Those 2 interceptions a week ago, the pick sixes that Alex talked about, the first one they got him. The second one was a tip by his wide receiver that Whitner got as kind of a gift.
Second down and 9. Sproles in the backfield. Blitz coming on Breeze as he throws, and that one is tipped and knocked out of bounds by Robert McClain. And this kid's been quite a find, really. Number 27, third-year pro out of Connecticut.
And he's a great story. First, the pressure off both edges. I think the tackles, Bushrod and Streif, have both struggled this year. Ball comes out. Look at the coverage by McClain. Now, he's a 7th-round pick 3 years ago by Carolina at the University of Connecticut. He's what they call a futures sign last January by Thomas Dimitroff and his scouting department. And Brad, you're right. They feel like they got a kid that could be a solid number 2 corner in this league.
And with Asante Samuel banged up, he's going to play a lot tonight. Not that he wouldn't have anyway. Breeze has to call timeout. The play clock was down to 1.
They were lined up all the way across the front, challenging them. Nobody deep. Look at Breeze and Sproles having a conversation.
So timeout just to save the down on a 3rd down and 9. You can get coverage of every NFL game while on the go this holiday season with NFL Mobile from Verizon. Watch every touchdown from every game Sunday afternoon with NFL Red Zone, as well as NFL Network. Thursday, Sunday, and Monday night games, all for just $5 a month. Even something Mike Mayock can afford. Call Star NFL to download or go to vzw.com/NFL to learn more. Big 3rd and 9 for both teams right here.
Yeah, I charted Mike Nolan's defense the last 3 weeks. First and second down, predominantly zone. Third down, Brad, heavy man-to-man. This time, they're looking like they're in a 2-deep zone.
Breeze, deep middle, and it is caught, complete. And Lance Moore with a great catch in coverage has it in Atlanta territory.
I don't know how you fit that throw in because the coverage was excellent, as was the protection. It's too deep. It's a Tampa 2, meaning the middle linebacker's running right down the field with Lance Moore. Look at 56, Witherspoon, and the safety. So here's Spoon. He's going to run underneath. Over top comes William Moore. That is a perfect throw in between 2 defenders. And I think Lance Moore is their most accomplished receiver. I really do.
In between about 6 arms, in fact. Saints trying to muster some offense here. with 7.5 to go in the half. Pickup of a couple for Mark Ingram.
You know what,
45.
I really think that when you're in an away game like this and you're down 17, I think you got to calm things down a little bit. And you can't just say he's going to throw the ball every snap. And I like the fact that they're still trying to run the football and keep some balance in this game.
Second down and 8.
5-6.
Both wideouts to the top of your screen. An eye backfield behind Drew Brees. Play action. Loads. Going long. Knocked away by Chris Owens, who got a left hand in front of Joseph Morgan.
And Joseph Morgan is their speed guy. And Drew Brees got everything he wanted on that play. 101 against Asante Samuel's replacement. Safety comes up. He gets what he wants. Nobody deep. It's 101. He steps into this throw. Look at Christopher Owens come through on the inside. The correct arm to tap it away. That's great coverage. And Chris Owens has already made 2 or 3 plays.
Third down and 8. Falcons think about a blitz here. They will come with it. Witherspoon straight up the middle. Brees in trouble. Got away, throws across, completes. What a play by Drew Brees with a lot of pressure. He got it to Marcus Colston.
That's all Drew Brees because Darren Sproles misses the block. Watch Sproles come over here and try and pick up Witherspoon. He throws at his feet. Spoon stays up. That's all Drew Brees stepping up into the pocket. And Brad, did you see his eyes pop up right there?
Always looking downfield.
That is so good. He had to get through all that trash and then get his eyes back up and make a throw. That's big time.
12-yard pickup on third down and 8. And now it's first and 10 at the Falcons 33. Again, they try to establish something on the inside of Mark Ingram, and he only got a yard. In front of him was Jed Collins, the fullback. Only one time in the last 5 seasons have the Saints not scored in the first half. And right now we have 5:43 remaining in this second quarter.
Pretty obvious, but this is an important drive for New Orleans. They've got to answer. Their defense did a nice job on the sudden change there, forcing a field goal. Their offense has got to get the ball in the end zone.
Toss sweep to Ivory. Got a nice block on the edge, but still only got to the 26, and will bring up third down and 3.
Brad, I am totally impressed by the relentless nature right now of this Atlanta defense. Their defensive backs are tackling. Their linebackers are flying to the ball. Remember, Brad, week 10, Ivory goes 56 yards for a touchdown where 5 guys missed tackles. That's not happening tonight. Got a mismatch down the bottom of the screen. Jimmy Graham. Safety's trying to cheat over now.
Brees looks that way. Flags are down. He rolls right and goes to the corner. Almost intercepted. Again, penalty markers on the play.
Yeah, no play, Brad. They called for the snap.
Neutral zone infraction, number 71 defense, 5-yard penalty, first down.
Troy Bierman jumps.
Yeah, watch him jump. Closest guy with his hand in the dirt right there.
First penalty against Atlanta. That is something in the Mike Smith era. They don't get penalized very often.
You're 100% right. As a matter of fact, Brad, I think they're averaging about 3.5 penalties a game for 28 yards, which is number 1 in the NFL.
Over, Mike, 6. Ready,
9th play of the Saints drive. Play fake. Brees sets. Got pressure. Double clutched and then goes complete to the 10 to Marcus Colston. And it's first and goal. And again, Drew Brees does a disappearing act in that pocket against the Atlanta pressure.
And Brad, just enjoy this, okay? Play action. Watch him. To his left, he wanted his tight end. It's not there. All the way back to his right. Throws off Jason Peters, Court Peters on the tackle. Keeps his eyes down the field. Great coverage everywhere. Colston works his way free. It's all about Drew Brees and his pocket awareness.
They're going to have to earn this first and goal. It's right at the 10-yard line. Draw play. Best run of the night And it's a touchdown for Pierre Thomas. Flags fly in at the end of the play. Thomas goes 10 yards for the score. And now we got our first conversation between the two teams tonight.
That play was so well blocked that the fullback, Jed Collins, didn't even make contact for like 8 yards. The lead blocker.
The result of the play was a touchdown. Personal foul, face mask, number 25 defense. That foul will be enforced on the kickoff.
William Moore with the face mask call. Pierre Thomas with his second touchdown rushing of the year. And driving those legs. Oh, the knee touched, it looked like.
Just inside the one, just inside the one, right there. That's a pretty simple one.
The previous play is under review.
All scores are reviewed as well as turnovers. So they'll take a look at this, and maybe it's not a Saints touchdown. We'll find out when we come back. Well, Peyton Manning has, but never in that uniform. Next week, we'll go out west. It's the Broncos and the Raiders. Thursday night football next week, 8 o'clock. Hope you join us. And here's the call.
Knee came down prior to crossing the goal line at the 1-yard line. With the penalty for face mask, the ball will be spotted at the half-yard line. First down.
Good explanation by Scott Green.
Yep. Very end of the play. It's pretty obvious the knee comes down. The 1-yard line is correct.
And there's Moore wrapping up his helmet and basically ripping it off at the goal line.
Yep, and that's a good call.
So, first and goal inside the 1. The Saints take advantage of drives down here as they have all year. Ingram's in at tailback with Jed Collins, the fullback. Ingram airborne. No signal. Touchdown. Line judge finally put up his hands, and Mark Ingram's in the end zone. The first points of the night for the Saints.
Well, that was an important answer. Get good push by the right guard, Jyree Evans, the fullback, Collins. Remember, they traded up to get Ingram. Cost them in the draft this year.
It was just a matter of when Mark could finally land, I think.
Yeah.
And he landed just over the goal line.
Brad, the Saints' first pick this year in the draft was the 3rd round because they gave up a first-rounder to get Ingram.
Yep.
And then they had the bounty gate thing that took away the 2nd-round pick.
Hartley's extra point caps off an 80-yard drive, a huge drive for the Saints in 11 plays. They get it down close, and the former Heisman Trophy winner goes airborne, 17-7. Drew Brees engineers an 80-yard march that the Saints had to have, and he had some big 3rd down conversions in that drive, Mike.
Yeah, this drive for me was all about Drew Brees. This first throw, I don't know how he fit it in, but give Lance Moore credit for incredible concentration. Now watch him in the pocket, eyes down the field, big throw and catch right there to Colston, and finally, again, pressure, steps through it. Boy, that's just 2 excellent conversions to Colston, both times. Eyes down the field, making something happen with his pocket awareness.
And that one to Moore was 32 yards on a 3rd and 9. So Drew Brees does what Drew Brees does so well on that drive that the Saints had to have to get back in the football game. Jacquizz Rodgers takes a kickoff in the end zone, and the Falcons will have another shot here with 3:17 remaining in the first half. I don't want to say it's been a flawless first half for Atlanta, but I think if you told them with 3:17 remaining in the first half they're going to be up by 10 points, they'd say, we'll take that.
Take it in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
And let's face it, they're trying to exercise some demons here in this building. They've lost 8 of the last 10. Mike Smith is what, 2-7? Yeah. Matt Ryan's 2-6 in his career. This is a game they need to win if they think they're going to be definitive and take that next step in the playoffs.
Matt Ryan in the Georgia Dome is 31-4. 3 of those losses have come against the guys in the white jerseys tonight. Snelling out of the backfield, and he's going to lose about a half yard. Curtis Lofton says The former Falcon makes the stop.
This little screen pass, really good job by Lofton because the offensive center, McClure, was flying out there to get the kick-out block, and Lofton beat it.
Falcons have their full complement of timeouts as we're down at 2:45. Roddy White hasn't caught a ball yet tonight for Atlanta. Ryan in trouble, won't get this one away. Cameron Jordan with a sack. Jordan's 7th sack of the season for New Orleans. He leads the club in that department.
It's a 4-man rush. Jacquizz Rodgers tries to come through, but that's Cameron Jordan, who's typically the defensive end. He moves inside to what they call the 3 technique, the defensive tackle, when they're trying to get their best 4 pure pass rushers on the field at the same time. They kick the former first-rounder from end inside to defensive tackle.
That last 5 years, the Saints have made defense their priority with their #1 picks, and as you said, he was the 24th overall choice last year. Big sack, and that stops the clock with a New Orleans timeout, with the Falcons facing a 3rd down and 16. They got to get it all the way out to the 30-yard line for a first down. You got to be careful here if you're Atlanta. Nothing worse than a turnover with the Saints finally capitalizing on their last march.
And ever since Weatherspoon had that interception, that was the last positive play for Atlanta.
Let's see if Matt Ryan's got a positive one here. Going to throw short to Snelling. Going to get ahead of steam. Wow. He's within a yard. In fact, he's trying to stretch it out. They gave him. No, they're not going to take that spot. They're going to back it up. On 3rd and 16, they got 15.
Watch him drop the pad level and the hit here at the end. He runs over 2 people, but it's really Lofton. That's the 2nd time tonight Lofton's come in late on a play, cleaned up, and kept the ball carrier or the receiver from getting a first down.
Lofton was one of the guys that talked a lot after the first meeting with the Falcons because he said that Roddy White and some of the Falcons had shown a little disrespect. Roddy White made the comment, "We gave them that game. They didn't take it from us." And Lofton, a former teammate, took offense at that. And there's been a lot of yapping going on for the last 2.5 weeks ever since between these two teams. But it's been that way since 1967. Nothing changes.
And I got to be honest with you. I mean, I'll be really surprised if Atlanta can walk away with this football game. New Orleans came back, scores a touchdown. There's 2:24 on the clock. You've got Drew Brees at quarterback. Come on.
2:24 is a lifetime for Drew Brees.
He and Matt Ryan might have 4 drives between them with 2:24. I don't know.
So Bosher to punt. Nice punt. Sproles all the way over to the near sideline. Makes a tough catch at the 14. And coming the other way, and a nice return by Sproles out to the 28-yard line. This is the 88th meeting talking about these rivals in the NFC South. The Falcons lead it 46-41. The problem is, to have a rivalry, you've got to have one team not win all the time. And the Saints have won 4 straight and 7 of the last 8, including the game 3 weeks ago, 31-27, in a game the Falcons felt they should have won because they came up with a couple of short yardage situations, including a goal-to-goal situation, and they couldn't get it in the end zone at the end. And the Saints came out on top. Atlanta with the lead right now, but it's going to be in number 9's hands here for the next 2 minutes and 13 seconds. Brees deep in the middle, Moore again. All the way down to the Atlanta 43. Pickup of 28 yards as we come to the 2-minute warning. So the Saints with a long drive to score their first touchdown, and now threatening again.
The second half, and we are giving away a trip to the Pro Bowl, Brad.
All right, Rich, thanks. We'll see you guys in 2 minutes. Speaking of 2 minutes, the Saints have a league-high 6 touchdowns in the final 2 minutes of the first half. Best in the NFL. Driving here. Brees down the middle, wide open is Colston to the 21. And a pickup of 21.
Yeah, they brought pressure off the left side with their sub guy, McLean. It was picked up Colston wide open.
Sproles stays with Breeze in the backfield. Remember, New Orleans out of timeouts. Breeze on first down, flushed and just dumps it into the turf. Intended for Sproles.
Weatherspoon knocked Sproles down. He was the intended receiver. Watch him come out of the backfield. Here comes Weatherspoon. Takes a shot at him. All of a sudden, Drew's got nobody to throw the football to, and Peters bearing down on him.
Second down and 10 with 1:34 left till intermission. Colston and Henderson to the top of your screen. Four-man rush. Breeze on a crossing route to Sproles inside the 10. First and goal, New Orleans at the 7.
And the NFL is a matchup league. Sproles beats Weatherspoon across his face. Carmichael does a nice job of allowing his mismatches. Mostly Sproles and his tight end, Jimmy Graham, especially in the red zone area.
Falcons defense, as you said earlier, played so well up until 5 or 6 minutes ago. They gave up an 80-yard touchdown drive, and now here's Drew Brees and company. First and goal at the 7. Trying to make it a 3-point game before halftime. Brees to Sproles. He's got blockers in front. He'll coast in. Touchdown, New Orleans. And a flag down.
Interference, offense, number 80.
It's coming back.
10-yard penalty, first down.
Negates a 7-yard touchdown.
Really kind of an interesting play here, right here. Jimmy Graham blocking, which is illegal until the ball's caught. It's all a timing play.
So now it's backed up to the 12-yard line. First and goal.
That's
45 seconds,
right?
And no timeouts.
Huge play right there.
Sure was. From the 17. Breeze wanted to go to his right and finally does, and got it to Sproles again. And Sproles takes a big hit at the 6-yard line.
If somebody's mouth guard came out at the end of that hit, I don't know if it was William Moore or Sproles or whatever, but again, a great job by Breeze holding onto the foot. He's going to run a little arrow route, okay? Comes back under, wins underneath, and at the very end of it, watch the hit. Right there. Wow.
Clock moving. Breeze throws short. Sproles is not going to get there, and they don't have any timeouts. Breeze trying to get his troops up to the line. And he got it, or did he not? All zeros.
They're going to have to take a look at this, but Atlanta's sprinting off the field.
Most of the Falcons already in the locker room. Out of timeouts and out of time as we take a look at the game clock. And there you can see triple zeros before Drew could spike it. Just that close. End of the first half, and the Falcons dodge a huge bullet with that offensive pass interference call on Graham. Negates a touchdown. 17-7 at the break. Stay tuned. Rich and the guys with a Lexus halftime show coming up next. The second half does start now, but first a look at the first half game summary presented by Best Buy. Falcons with a 10-point lead, over 100 yards on the ground, something they couldn't do the first time. As we welcome you back to the Georgia Dome, Brad Nessler, Mike Mayock, Alex Flanagan will join us shortly. And partner, I'll tell you what, the Saints would like to have one more timeout or one more second to play with.
I think it's inexcusable that they came out of that sequence without points on the board. Let's take a look back at it. They thought they had a touchdown, but Jimmy Graham is going to commit interference right there. He's blocking on a linebacker before the ball is caught. The touchdown is called back. Now, with time running out and no timeouts, they're running routes where it's a primary check down to the tailback, Sproles. The tight end, Jimmy Graham, wasn't even looking. That was a check down. 3, 2, 1, no timeouts. That ball had to be thrown, Brad, into the end zone. So if it's incomplete, you can kick a field goal. You can't come out of that drive without points.
Big swing right there in Atlanta's favor, but the Saints do get the football first to start the third quarter. Bosher to kick. And Cadet from 8 yards deep is going to bring it out. Trying to get to the corner, and he won't get to the 20-yard line. As we check in with Alex Flanagan. Alex.
Hey, Brad. Well, not a lot of explanation from a pretty terse head coach, Joe Vitt, who agreed that the Saints would have had more time to score had they not huddled before the final play of the first half. I asked him down 10 points how disciplined he had to be to stay balanced offensively, and he said, we will be balanced in the second half. Meanwhile, Falcons head coach Mike Smith tells me that Asante Samuel, his cornerback, is likely out for the rest of this game with a shoulder injury.
All right, Alex. Drew Brees, after that second interception, has been 8 out of 11 for 133 yards since. And they do try to establish some balance as Pierre Thomas on the first carry of the third quarter. Quarterback comparison to the best in the business. Matt Ryan only 50% for 81 yards, but he does have a Tony Gonzalez touchdown. And Drew Brees, 2 interceptions, even though he threw for a lot of yardage in the first half.
And like Alex said, New Orleans right back with the run game first play.
Now the throw is complete to Colston. Stood up by Dante Robinson, but not before he gets a first down.
You know, Brad, there's been some criticism about the money they've paid Dante Robinson, a big price free agent, and some of it's justified. However, the one thing I will tell you is that he will come up and tackle. And we talked about that this week as we watched tape, and that was another example. Great reaction, came up in a physical play on Colston, who weighs 225.
He made some big hits on Doug Martin and the Tampa Bay Bucks last week, too, to help preserve a 1-point victory for Atlanta. One of their 7 victories by 7 points or less. Straight up the middle. And there's one of the better runs of the night by Pierre Thomas. 11 yards and a first down.
And
so
again,
Joe wasn't kidding to Alec, was he?
They've got a fullback in the game, and the fullback's going to get right up through the hole and on the backer at the second level because the center, De La Puente, and the right guard, Evans, do such a good job. Downhill, this is who they are, and I give Joe Vitt some credit. Hey, run the football, stay physical, and then your play-action game with Drew Brees will be even better.
Empty backfield for Brees. He'll throw on first down. Batted up in the air by John Abraham. Second deflected pass of the night. One by his helmet and that one by his hand. And it'll be 2nd and 10.
It's the left tackle's job to get his hands down. He tries to cut them to bring the hands down, but Abraham's just kind of a genetic athletic freak. Does a nice job stepping through a poor cut block and getting that right hand up. Boy, that's really athletic.
He might be 34, but he's still one of the best around. 2nd and 10. 3 receivers to Drew Brees' right, including Jimmy Graham. He'll come back the other way to a wide open Lance Moore with a stiff arm on Robinson. He's got a first down out of bounds and a pickup of 12.
Drew Brees is just so smart. You know, he reads the rotation. Watch the safety come out late to deep middle, and he knows he's got soft and off here. There goes Moore. Inside leverage corner. That's just pitch and catch for a veteran quarterback. And again, outside of Jimmy Graham, I think the most natural wide receiver for them is Lance Moore.
And
Doesn't get the credit he deserves.
Those 2 guys, Graham and Moore, have been the Falcon killers in the last couple of years.
Well, they had 14 of the 21 catches in the Week 10 game.
In Falcons territory, first round, and a big run by Thomas again. Spinning his way down to the 36-yard line. So they go back to the ground and they get 13 more.
Ben Grubbs just going to pull right into the hole and watch the back get right up inside that block. Nice job. That's just a little trap block. And bang, Pierre Thomas does the rest.
They stay with the I backfield and the fullback. And again, down to the 30 goes Thomas.
Brad, I mean, exactly what Joe Vitt told Alex at halftime, and I'm a big believer of this, and we talked about it all week. When they won the Super Bowl, what'd they do? They were number 6 in run game.
Balance.
People don't understand that, and Joe Vitt, what did he tell us on the phone?
He didn't care if it's this year or 1958. You still got to block and tackle.
He said, I don't care if it's a 58 Baltimore Colts. It's still the same kind of football. Breeze. Now he throws. Tipped. Graham couldn't find the handle, and luckily for the Saints, neither could the Falcons.
I couldn't tell if he came back to the football or not. He's got to come back to the football. Watch Jimmy Graham here. He's got to make an effort to get back to the ball. It's zone coverage, pincer-like actions from both sides. You can't just stand there. Jimmy Graham, you got to come back to the football. Heck of a play by McLean, who continues to impress.
A huge 3rd and 4 here early in the third quarter.
He's got man-to-man everywhere with a single high safety. Somebody's got to win.
And flags down. I think Bushrod may be the left tackle with a false start. We'll see.
False start. Offense number 74. 5-yard penalty. Third down.
And that 3rd and what looked pretty manageable just got into 3rd and long.
Big difference. 3rd and 4 versus 3rd and 9.
The Saints have passed on all of their 3rd down situations tonight. Matt Ryan waiting for his chance. And Drew Brees doesn't want to give it back to him.
I'm wondering if this is 4-down territory right here. You're in no man's land for a field goal. Do you plan for 3rd and 4th if you need it?
Could be. Brees getting some heat, got rid of it. But Sproles, did he get to the first down marker? Yes, he did. Nifty move by Sproles, who got 10 yards on 3rd and 9.
Yeah, they're just playing a little bit of an in and out coverage on Darren Sproles and the tight end Graham. Deku comes in late. Sproles makes a play.
Drew Brees quiets the Georgia Dome crowd and moves it to the 25-yard line. 10th play of the opening drive of the third quarter. Again, Pierre Thomas, a tailback in the eye, and he'll get the carry. This time the Falcons have him all wrapped up, no gain. Travian Robertson, a rookie, makes the stop.
Saw him at the East-West game last year. He was a kind of no-name guy from South Carolina. And at the East-West game, he was one of those defensive tackles that hustled on every play, sprinted to the ball carrier. He was only a 7th-round pick, but Brad, he's earned 12 to 15 snaps a game in his rookie season.
Now Brees under center on 2nd and 9. Pump fakes one way, play action, and then down the middle to Graham. And it's 1st and goal, New Orleans. 17-yard pickup.
He wins off the line of scrimmage. Watch the defender whiff on him. Doesn't even touch him. That's a win immediately because Stephen Nicholas can't cover him. He's expecting a disruption to the route. Babineau missed him at the line of scrimmage. Easy throw and catch.
How about the pump fake, then the play action, then the throw? Not bad for Drew Brees, huh? 1st and goal, New Orleans. Brees to the end zone. Moore dropped it. Had it and couldn't hold it.
Another play action fake. Dante Robinson goes flat-footed in the end zone, and because of that, he gets beat. That should have been caught. Lance Moore catches that ball 99 out of 100 times, and he knows it.
Now the 13th play of the Saints drive that has taken over 5 minutes of this quarter. 2nd and goal. Pump fake, and now Ingram out of the backfield, and he loses his footing. And then he's put in his place by William Moore.
And this was set up as a really unique one-man screen, and the blocker's the fullback, Jed Collins. Watch Collins here come out and be the lead guy in the screen. One-man screen, it's all set up. If he catches the ball and run, he scores a touchdown.
Falcons have had a tough time getting a 3rd down stop on the Saints for the last quarter. It's 3rd and goal here. Brees steps up, throws short. Thomas hit and down at the 3-yard line. Robert McLean, another nice play from the Falcons secondary.
Yeah, and they're doing a great job taking away all the routes in the end zone. Drew Brees stepped up away from John Abraham and checked it down again, and everybody rallied up and made the tackle. And Brad, you know, the last few times these teams have played, it's been Atlanta's inability to score in the red zone, and now it's the opposite.
It's amazing that in week 13, Garrett Hartley has only 9 made field goals. This is a 21-yard field goal attempt, and it's good. With 8 minutes, 24 seconds remaining, third quarter, the Saints let one slip away. That could have made it a field goal game. Instead, they settled for a field goal. 17-10 Atlanta. This year, in more than 70,000 schools at nearly 2,000 events, and through the creation of youth fitness zones across the country, NFL Play 60 has improved the health of millions of American children through the power of play. Visit NFLRush.com to learn how NFL Play 60 could come to your community. Well, Hartley to kick after hitting the 21-yard field goal. And Quiz Rogers is going to take this one 5 yards deep and bring it out. And cut down before he can get to the 20. 8 minutes, 19 seconds remaining, third quarter. Falcons offense hasn't had the ball in about a half an hour. Matt Ryan and his teammates will have it when we come back. Mike, the Falcons haven't had the ball in a long, long time, and they haven't had a first down on their last 3 drives.
They can't go 3 and out again. Their defense is getting chewed up physically. They got to give them some time off here.
They work from the 17. Draw play to Turner. And Turner keeps the legs going, backpedaling his way for 5 yards.
And that's kind of, remember, Brad, how this game started? The way it started was a very physical Atlanta run game. And Turner and Rogers had 11 carries for 101, most of it in the first quarter. Since then, this game's been dominated by the Saints, except for the turnover differential and the lack of red zone efficiency by the Saints.
They will keep it on the ground. Turner again. And flags fly in, generally in the direction of holding.
Holding, offense number 62. 10-yard penalty, second down.
Todd McClure, the old man, the anchor of that line, the center.
And it gets really obvious when your hands get outside the framework of the defender's body. Look at the center, and as Turner cuts back and the defender reacts, bang, you can see it clearly right there. The reach, the hold, so that Bunkley can't make the play.
So it brings up second down at 15. Remember, even on the last time the Falcons scored, it was following a Witherspoon interception.
And it was
went on a 4-play drive for 2 yards and then got the field goal.
Exactly.
Play fake, quick throw out to Julio Jones. Got Tony Gonzalez trying to throw him a block. And he gets it out for 8 yards.
And I'm good with that play. Bubble screen, Chase Kaufman out front blocking, 225-pound wide receiver. You know, we've talked an awful lot about how we think Matt Ryan has become a franchise quarterback in this league. They ran the ball well early. I think it's time now for Matt to put this team on his shoulders and start making some plays.
Roddy White shut out in the first half is right in front of your screen. To Matt Ryan's right, Sonos, Tony Gonzalez in the slot. And a quick throw, incomplete, intended for White. And knocked down by Jabari Greer, and the Falcons have to give it up.
Roddy White's got to win inside here. No separation, good play by Jabari Greer. So give Greer credit, but Roddy White's got to create some separation to make that play possible.
Falcons are 0 for 6 on third down conversion attempts. Bosher to punt. And the Saints are going to get their hands back on it with about 6.5 minutes to go in the third quarter. Again to the near sideline. Sproles, tough catch at the 24. Made the first man miss and got it back to the 30. The lead is 7. No lead is safe with that guy playing quarterback for the opposition. As you look in on Atlanta, Georgia, the Georgia Dome, and a 17-10 lead for the Falcons, but the Saints have got it back. And Atlanta's only had 49 yards of offense since the end of the first quarter.
By 2.
Meanwhile, the Saints racking up big chunks of yardage, and they've cut the lead to 7. Play action for Breeze. Pump fake to the sideline, complete easily to Lance Moore in front of Robert McLean.
Wow, did he get him turned around? There was 5-6 yards of separation. Thomas Deku, the safety, goes up. McLean's, as soon as he makes the break up, McLean turns and runs, and then just a really nice move. It's just a quick double move by Lance Moore. He turns it up and right back out again.
5-4. Yellow ready. Stitch. Waiting. Ready. 90. Nice shot.
On the ground, big opening again. Pierre Thomas running with authority to midfield.
Boy, they're just killing them now up front. Atlanta's defense getting walled off. That time Ben Grubbs got up to the second level. Those linebackers aren't coming downhill like we saw them in the first quarter. And New Orleans offensive line is taking over this football game right now.
This is a dangerous spot right here when you got Drew Brees playing quarterback. 2nd down and 2. You can take a shot and worry about it on the next play. And he's all by his lonesome in the Saints backfield. So they are going to take a shot. And they will go deep sideline. Sproles has got it. Nope. Dropped it. In and out of his hands. Witherspoon got back there along with William Moore. The Missouri connection breaks up what could have been a big gainer.
Everything but the catch. They get the one-on-one on Witherspoon. Sproles on Witherspoon. He's going to run away from him every time. It's a perfectly thrown football. Darren Sproles has got to catch that ball. Has nothing to do with the hit. That's just a drop.
3rd down and 2 at midfield. Thomas behind Breeze will get the toss sweep. Heading to the corner. Got it. And then some. 1st down, New Orleans. Bushrod, the left tackle, got a nice lead block. 8-yard gain. They move the sticks.
A little crack toss. The wide receiver comes in and gets a crack from the outside, and that allows Bushrod to get in behind. There's one block by Devery Henderson. Here's the second block out there. Bushrod gets the block. This is New Orleans Saints football. Vintage. Power downhill, and then Breeze takes his shots.
Thomas breaking tackles. Wow. Caught from behind, or he might have had more than the 8 yards he got.
This is just physical. I love watching this. Jed Collins, the fullback. Watch again as he gets up to the second level on the linebacker. They're wearing him out. Good block by the right guard. Collins gets face mask to face mask on Hakeem Dent. This is dirty, nasty, fun football right now. And Atlanta better step up and play.
Play action. Breeze bootlegs. Throws to his safety valve. Collins, the fullback, and he's run out of bounds by Stephen Nicholas. Nice play by the outside linebacker. No gain on the play.
And good job again, discipline-wise, deep for Atlanta, because Breeze really wanted a deep route. They had 2 verticals, had to check it down.
3rd down again. The Saints have been good on 3rd down tonight. There's the numbers and the key players. Third down, a long 2. Drew Brees, plenty of time, lofts it, but Colston can't one-hand it. And finally, the Falcons stop a 3rd down. But will the Saints try a field goal? They're going to go here.
Yeah, that was a huge stop right there. See from behind, Colston stick, nod to the middle of the field, one-handed attempt. And it's going to force a deep field goal here.
Hartley is 1 out of 2 outside 50 yards. 53 has been his best. And this will be from 52. Kick on the way. Inside the right upright. Garrett Hartley, second longest field goal of his career, has cut it to 4. Just under 4 minutes remaining in the 3rd quarter. Falcons still lead, but now clinging by 4. Next Wednesday, catch A Football Life for an incredible portrait of legendary Lions running back Barry Sanders. He was the best in the business, the face of the franchise, charged with delivering hope to his city, then unexpectedly walked away in the prime of his career. Barry Sanders of Football Life next Wednesday, 8 o'clock Eastern, exclusively on NFL Network. Another Drew Brees drive engineered, only took 2 minutes and 49 seconds to go 36 yards and get Garrett Hartley's field goal to make it a 4-point game. And Jacquizz Rodgers can only watch and catch at the back of the end zone. 13 unanswered Saints points. It's on this guy right now, Mike.
It really is. I mean, look at this number. We're closing in towards the end of the first quarter. Saints 21 plays, 3 for the Falcons.
Left hash.
He's telling the official they want the football on the left hash. Gives them a wide field to the offensive right. And you're right, Ness. Right now, it's time for this young franchise quarterback and for the offensive coordinator, Dirk Cutter, to cut him loose.
Rodgers in the Atlanta backfield. Ryan pressured, backpedaled away from it somehow. Throws off his back foot, incompletes. Tony Gonzalez had gone down. Matt Ryan went down at the end of the play, courtesy of Turk McBride.
They've been struggling all night with pressure up the middle. Watch McClure, the center, get just jacked back right there. Immediate pressure. That's Akeem Hicks, the 3rd-round draft pick out of Regina, Saskatchewan. Canadian kid. Pressure on Sam Baker. But really, it's the immediate interior pressure that's hurt their pass attack tonight.
Matt Ryan did a good job just backpedaling away to get rid of that football and save a sack. 2nd and 10. Ryan steps up this time and throws nobody home. Julio Jones was the closest Falcon.
Yeah, there's an obvious disconnect between he and Julio.
And there's been very little connect between the two tonight.
And what you're going to see is Julio's going to work back to the inside after contact. Matt throws it outside. Now they're going to have the stare down, and usually the quarterback wins that one.
Jones has 3 catches tonight. Falcons have not converted a 3rd down, and we only have 3:41 remaining in the 3rd quarter. Third and 10. Ryan across the middle, in and out of the hands of Roddy White. They still haven't converted a 3rd down.
Another drop by Roddy White. Saw one in the first half. That would not have been a 1st down. Give the Saints credit. 3-man rush. They drop 8. They force the break prior to the 1st down marker. Come up and rally to the football.
And again, Sproles drops back, awaiting the Matt Bosher punt. Falcons 5 straight possessions held without a 1st down. Sproles is going to have a shot here from the 23. Nobody around him so far. Sproles in. Wow. To the 2nd wave and out to the 43-yard line. Good field position for Drew Brees. Only trailing by 4. And speaking of pizza, the Saints have been slicing the Falcons little by little to get back in this game and try to get in the playoff hunt to go to 6-6. Atlanta trying to stop their losing skid against their arch nemesis from New Orleans. They lead by 4, but it is a precarious lead right now. The Saints have dominated the quarter. 1st down at the 43.
Max 5-4 inside.
Brees to throw on 1st down. Completes it out to Colston for a 4-yard gain. Robert McClain made the hit.
Brad, that was the 58th play offensively for New Orleans. Typically in a full game, a defense will have to defend plus or minus 63 to 65 plays. We're not even at the end of the 3rd quarter, and we're approaching that number.
And obviously you saw Atlanta unable to get anything going offensively, and they haven't been on the field. So it's been their defense that's been out there most of the night. Bootleg, Brees throws back across his body, and it's intercepted by William Moore. The 3rd interception of the night. Moore still on his feet to the 41-yard line. And Atlanta's got the ball back.
uncharacteristically, this is on Drew Brees. Remember earlier in the game, it was a bad interception. Again, play action. As he rolls to his right, he's going to throw the football back across his body. William Moore is just lurking. He sees it the whole time. This is zone, which means eyes on the quarterback. When you're playing zone, all those defenders have eyes on the quarterback. Moore is sitting in his zone and reacts to a poor decision and throw by Brees.
Atlanta first down at the 41 with the turnover. One by Deku, one by Moore, one by Witherspoon. Jacquizz Rodgers going nowhere. Lost yardage. Jonathan Casillas in on the tackle.
And that play had a chance too. If Peter Kahns, the rookie second-round pick at right guard, could have made a block.
Now, the rookie out of Wisconsin couldn't get the block on the fourth-year linebacker out of Wisconsin.
That's right.
Brings up second down and 11. Again, Roddy White has been a non-factor tonight. He's in a slot on the left side on second down and 11. Ryan, Tony Gonzalez to the 25. First down, Atlanta. First down since 14 minutes remained in the second quarter.
Now they're no huddle. Matt Ryan over the ball. Good protection. Kahns does a good job. Look at the pocket. He just stepped up into a clean pocket. That's how you win in this league.
Play action. Bootleg for Ryan. And he throws on the run, and it's complete inside the 5. First and goal, and there is Roddy White.
Boy, this is vintage Roddy White working against Jabari Greer. Watch him work Greer inside and now fight to get outside, and he wins to the outside. Beautiful throw and catch. That's Roddy White. It's vintage. Worked him inside, took him outside, makes the catch.
Now, here's Atlanta's problem against New Orleans in goal-to-goal situations.
Yep.
They're at the 4, and they're going to talk about it right now. They had their jumbo package out there. Will they change it? We'll see. They had Turner coming out. They had Cox, the fullback, in there, and now they're going to talk things over on the sideline.
And here's the problem, Brad. In the Week 10 matchup, they went to that jumbo goal line package, 3 running plays, and they went -1, and 0. Last week, when they spread the field and ran toss sweep to Jacquizz Rodgers, he walked into the end zone against Tampa. So the conversation with Mike Smith right now is, hey, we're running the ball pretty good tonight with our fullback. Should we go jumbo or should we spread it?
Turner stays in. So does Cox.
Now Cox is coming out now.
Cox does come out late. You're right.
I prefer to spread the field and let Matt Ryan sit there and count the box and make a decision at the line of scrimmage whether to run the football or throw it.
They've got White, Gonzalez, and Harry Douglas in tight on the top. Julio Jones wide to the right. First and goal, Atlanta at the Saints 4. Toss sweep to Turner. Michael Turner stuffed. Lost yardage. Will Smith was the first guy to meet him.
Yeah, they're bringing linebackers here and here. I thought it was a good play, but Harry Douglas is not a good lead blocker. He gets tunned right there by Jabari Greer. Great hustle from the inside out with Will Smith.
And the end result's a loss of 2.
It was actually a good call for the defense that they were in. It just wasn't executed by Atlanta.
Second tight end comes in. Palmer way down to the bottom of your screen on second and goal.
And there's the guy, Gonzalez.
And whistle, stop play here.
False start. Offense, number 88. 5-yard penalty. Second down.
Tony wanted a head start, I guess.
Yeah, he's right here. Interesting. I don't know if he just, does he twitch?
Oh, barely.
Boy, I can hardly even see that.
And it's all the way back to the 11, where it's second and goal. Final seconds of the third quarter.
Spreading the field.
Snelling in the Atlanta backfield. Roddy White in motion. Probably the last play of the quarter. Bryant. Crossing route, incomplete. He wanted to get it to Snelling. And I guess the only thing that will excite the fans in the Georgia Dome is that the other end zone will get a look at the first play of the fourth quarter. We played 3. Atlanta clinging to a 4-point lead at home.
Matt Ryan wanted Julio Jones, but he gets double teamed here. Watch what happens when Snelling on the checkdown's wide open. Look at this Matt Ryan's feet. Good here, but now when he pulls the ball down, doesn't get reset, throwing from a different platform and the ball sails on him. That's a throw he usually makes.
We start the fourth quarter. Brad Nessler, Mike Mayock, Alex Flanagan. The Falcons 3rd and goal at the Saints 11-yard line. Matt Ryan across the middle. Roddy White incomplete. And it's 4th and goal. And trying to get the lead back to 7. Out comes Matt Bryant.
Red zone.
That's right.
Both teams tonight have struggled in the red zone.
We said that when the Falcons got 1st and goal at the 4. Loss at 2 on the first play. And now they have to settle for a field goal attempt of 29 yards. Bosher to hold. Matt Bryant from 29. Perfect. Atlanta finally gets some points after the Saints had scored 13 unanswered. Keeps it at a 1-score game, though. 7-point ball game with 14:48 remaining. Don't forget, a week from tonight, we'll be out in Oakland. Those are just some of our friends, Mike and I and Alex. Peyton Manning, can you be the comeback player of the year and the MVP all in one season?
Why not?
Tell you what, he's close, isn't he? Broncos and Raiders next Thursday night on NFL Network. Hope you join us. Peyton Manning's been sensational.
He's going to need to be this week because they're playing at Tampa Bay. And, you know, he's, by his own admission, Brad, he says he's not 100%, but he's throwing for 68%. Look at the touchdowns to interceptions. And on the season, a 104 quarterback rating. The guy is just an amazing dude. He really is.
Another pretty amazing dude, Drew Brees, waiting for his chance and licking his chops over there on the sideline. Down just a touchdown. So many of these games over the 46 years that these two teams have been playing have come down to something like this. 7 points, 3 points, overtime.
I mean, even when it was 17-0, you had a feeling it was going to end up this way. You really did.
Bosher's kick, a line drive. Cadet's going to bring it out. And he got out to the 20. That's where the Saints go to work offensively. Drew Brees, 3 interceptions tonight, but only trailing by a touchdown.
And the Saints have 364 yards already. And Brad, what you just said is the key to the game, the turnover differential.
Falcons pretty good when they lead in the fourth quarter. And of course, the only loss, you guessed it.
Oh, you did.
The Saints.
They're also pretty good when Mike Smith wins the turnover differential battle. And right now they're +3.
Draw play on first down. Pierre Thomas goes for almost 5 as we check in with Alex.
Well, Brad, as the Falcons try and beat the Saints for the first time this season, the Saints holding on really to their playoff hopes. Joe Vitt telling us before this game that it is the most important game that the Saints have played in the last 3 or 4 years this early on in the season. He said this is a must-win game in order for them to stay alive, Brad.
Second down and 5. And whistle stop play.
Right guard.
Start. Offense number 73. 5-yard penalty. Sam.
We're talking about the Saints starting 0-4. If you're wondering, has an 0-4 team ever made the playoffs? Once.
Yep.
1992. San Diego Chargers.
You talk about forget mathematics and what happens playoff-wise. If the remaining of the schedule for New Orleans is brutal. They got to go to the Giants next week, then Tampa Bay, then at Dallas. Brutal schedule.
2nd and 10. Breeze. Across the middle of Graham, but a nice open field tackle by Nicholas. Mike was just talking about what lies ahead. Here's what it looks like. At the Giants, Tampa Bay, at Dallas, and Carolina to wrap it up. But if they don't win this game tonight, I think you can kind of forget about the rest of that unless they run the table and some other people lose.
Yeah, again, forget the mathematical probabilities. They need to win the game tonight.
3rd down and 5. Lance Moore in motion. Falcons 4-man rush. Breeze rifles it complete, and it's a 1st down to Moore.
To me, Lance Moore is their key guy in these kinds of situations. It's a good structure. Again, you're going to see Colston come in here. Moore will come right behind him. Bends it in right behind. McLean jumps on the in route. That opens the window.
5 catches for Moore. A couple of those on 3rd down, including that last one. He caught 7 balls 3 weeks ago in this matchup. Drew Brees, the NFL record for touchdown passes in consecutive games that he broke earlier, Johnny Unitas, but without one tonight. I don't think he cares about that right now, but he would like to get a touchdown. Down the middle he goes, and he might have one soon. Graham, and it was John Abraham way back there in coverage that brought him down, but not before he got 25 yards.
What I loved here is he changed the protection at the line of scrimmage. He saw what was happening. The right guard steps down. Jari Evans picks up the blitzing linebacker. There's a one-on-one, and that's just stealing with Jimmy Graham against Abraham.
Abraham and Croy Bierman both do that at times, drop into coverage from their defensive end spots, and that time Abraham just too late to get the big tight end. 1st down. Breeze flares it out to Sproles. Sproles broke 1 tackle down the sideline and out of bounds at the 32-yard line. Just a yard shy of another 1st down.
Another little screen. They're so creative. They're one of the best screen teams in the league. And that time I thought Devery Henderson might have even held Chris Owens, but I love the way they are creative in getting the football in 43's hands.
Drew Brees may have been intercepted 3 times, but he's found 9 different receivers tonight. 2nd down and short. Thomas on a draw play. Hitting the backfield, and down he goes. And William Moore with a big play for the Atlanta defense.
And that's been the play that's killed Atlanta all night. The lead draw. Fullback in the game. This time the 8th man. Watch Moore come up, and he's going to beat the crack block. From our left, there's a crackback block coming. He beats it, makes the one-on-one tackle, and that lead draw has killed Atlanta all night long.
3rd down at the 36. Approaching 10 minutes. Biggest 3rd down of the ball game so far. Breeze. Down he goes as John Abraham just took care of business and ran over the tackle for the sack.
Like he was shot out of a cannon against right tackle Zach Strief. This is Abraham at his best. Speed rush, dips, rips, bends around the edge. Watch him bend right there and flattens right to the quarterback. Boy, is that good. And no field goal. It takes him out of any potential field goal range. That's a huge play.
So Morstead's got to punt, and Franks lets it go. Bounces, trying to keep it in the field of play, and I think the Saints have.
I think they're gonna say his foot was in the end zone. Let's see where he takes off. See?
His right foot looked like it might have been on the line. (20-13). Johnny Patrick wishes he had smaller feet right now, Mike.
Remember, if his foot hits the line, the rest of it doesn't matter. And look at the side judge right there in perfect position, the right foot on the goal line. Good call.
That saves Atlanta 20 yards. Turner in the Atlanta backfield. Matt Ryan, quick throw on first down. Completes. Julio Jones, pickup of about 4. Falcons started things off with a touchdown drive to open up the game. 103 yards rushing tonight. Matt Ryan has not been necessarily on his game at all, and Drew Brees, though he's thrown for 312 yards, has been intercepted 3 times and hasn't thrown a touchdown. Ryan got a wide open Tony Gonzalez, and Tony fights his way out to the 38-yard line. First down.
Only his 4th catch of the day. In line, crosses the face of Lofton. Nobody picks him up. Vilma went the other way. That's an obvious bust amongst the linebackers. Tony Gonzalez looks up like, are you kidding me? Nobody's there.
I think he was as shocked as the Saints defense that he was that open. Out to the 38-yard line. 70 straight again for Gonzalez. Now it's Michael Turner out of the backfield, and he's out to the 44.
You know, Brad, we had a conversation with Tony Gonzalez yesterday, and he told us, like he's told most people, that he's about 95% sure he's not coming back next year. Now, if he wins the Super Bowl this year, I think he does the Jerome Bettis and rides off into the sunset. But you know what? He's played at such a high level. I have a hard time believing the Falcons won't find a way to talk him into playing another year.
His oldest son is 11, and he's out on the West Coast, and he wants to spend more time watching him play football. But he's got a lot of football left, I think. You're right. Michael Turner. And Turner is going to have what looks like a first down.
See, they've got a fullback in the game. Little wind back play where the fullback gets the block, point of attack, the bounce by Turner. See, that's where I'd rather see Jacquizz Rodgers run that wind back, because I think from a burst perspective, he'd have made it through the hole much more quickly than Turner.
Well, maybe you'll get your chance here. Quiz is in there on first down at the 48. Ryan straight drop. Fires, it's tipped again at the line of scrimmage.
I think that was Akeem Hicks. Remember, they didn't have a 1st or 2nd round pick. Here's their 3rd round pick. 330-pound defensive tackle. Raw as they come. I told you I was at the East-West game last year. This huge guy shows up in this ugly green helmet and uniform that I didn't recognize from any colleges. And I realized he was from Regina, Saskatchewan, and he proceeded to start blowing people up all over the field.
He blew up that pass play. That forces a 2nd down and 10. Ryan in the gun. Quiz Rodgers there with him. And Jacquizz will get the draw play. But he's only going to get to midfield. Curtis Lofton, the first guy there. Casillas, likewise.
And Brad, I think this, again, we keep talking about key plays, and, you know, 66 plays run already by New Orleans. This offense of Atlanta has got to control the football. It's a key 3rd down play. This is where Steve Spagnuolo will heat up Matt Ryan typically. 3rd and 3 to 3rd and 8 or 9. He loves the overload pressure and plays a lot of man behind it.
Remember, the Falcons haven't converted a 3rd down yet. At midfield, they've got to get to the 42 of New Orleans here. Ryan, here comes the pressure. Throws complete. Julio Jones, and he's got a first down. Out of bounds inside the 40.
Sam Baker struggles in pass protection here. Former 1st round pick from USC is going to get beat from the inside around him. That shouldn't happen. Good move right there, but Matt Ryan should not be getting hit on that kind of play. Good job by Julio Jones making the catch and getting up the field for the first down.
At the 39, as we are down close to 6.5 minutes. Atlanta by 7. Any kind of score here would certainly help their cause. Matt Ryan, pump fakes, comes short to Jacquizz Rodgers. And he's not going to get away from Jonathan Casillas.
Casillas is their better pass defending linebacker. Plays a lot in their sub packages. Very quick. Undersized, quick guy. And again, on that play, Brad, immediate internal pressure. Peter Kahn struggled I think that's been the biggest disruption to the Atlanta Falcons pass attack tonight, has been the immediate inside pressure.
Falcons have used over 4 minutes on this drive. We're under 6 remaining fourth quarter. Ryan on 2nd and 8. Quiz Rogers, and Lofton's got him all wrapped up. That one just never developed.
Yeah, Lofton read that the whole way on a blitz. Trying to get a little slip screen out to Quiz Rogers, and Lofton, very intelligent, came through the A gap, which is between center and guard, read it, and moved down the line.
Now it's 3rd down and a bunch. They got to get to the 29-yard line. Jason Snelling comes in, and he'll be the motion man to come and join Ryan in the backfield. 3rd and 14. Matt's going to flip it out there to Snelling. He got some of the yardage back, took a whack at the 38-yard line, but it does give Matt Bryant a shot as we're under 5 minutes. Where they were, field goal wasn't looking good. Looks a little bit better from here.
Another check down on a 3rd and long situation.
This is going to be a 55-yard field goal attempt, and that's the season long for Matt Bryant. He's been big time in clutch situations for this Falcons team. Does he have one more in him right here? And the Saints are going to take a timeout, so we'll have to wait and see about the field goal. 20-13. Stick around. Matt Bryant has made 6 straight from outside 50, including a season-long 55-yarder against the Raiders, which proved to be the difference in a 3-point win. Here, trying to make it a 10-point game with 4:30 to play. Bryant from 55. Kick on the way, and he got it. 14 career game winners for Matt Bryant. Will that be number 15? We've still got some football to play to find out. Falcons by 10. Know that lonely feeling that kickers have sometimes when you miss a couple of field goals that might cost you a game?
Yeah.
Well, even though they beat Tampa Bay last week, the Falcons, Matt Bryant had some of those feelings last week. Not tonight. 55-yarder, and Matt Ryan says, yeah, baby. .425 remaining. Atlanta leads by 10. Matt Bosher to kick. Cadet will camp under this one 6 yards deep. And out he comes. And he gets only across the 20-yard line. Some miscues by the Saints in this game, Mike.
Yeah, in addition to 3 interceptions, I think they're leaving points on the board. End of the first half, they check it down with time running out. No timeouts. That ball's going to get thrown in the end zone. Even if it's incomplete, you can kick a field goal. They can't kill it in time. They left at least 3 off the board. Now, ball's on the 36. Abraham with the immediate sack. That would have been a 53 or 4-yard field goal attempt. Instead, they had to punt the football. So it's tough to win a football game against a good team when you're -3 in turnover differential and you're leaving points off the board.
Falcons, those turnovers, they've only turned into 6 points, but that's a big 6 right now. Saints with 2 timeouts. Breeze steps up, throws short across the middle, dropped by Sproles. John Abraham was coming again.
Well, I'll tell you, when he gets moving, when he just can either stick his hand in the dirt or come from that 2-point stand, whatever. When he knows it's one-dimensional and you're throwing the football, that's when he's special.
Drew in an empty backfield on 2nd down and 10. Sets waits and now throws late, and that thing wobbled out there and was caught. Looked like someone got a hand on it, maybe Abraham again, but it's a 14-yard pickup.
It was Abraham late, but it was a beautiful pocket. He had all day to throw this football. Abraham came late.
March 5-4.
First down, New Orleans at the 35. Breeze to the far side. That's a one-hopper to Moore. That pass just sort of died out there.
Yeah, I don't think that was deflected. You don't see Drew Brees throw one-hoppers too often. I still think it was Abraham again with Bushrod. Watch Abraham again kind of just get in the passing lane with his hand up right there. I think that was just enough to get Brees off his game.
And the Saints tackle down. Might be cramping up a little bit. The late stages of this game.
He's fought through a groin issue, been on the inactive list for several weeks. Remember, right tackle, Brad. First it was Streif, then when he got hurt, they brought in Charles Brown. He hurt his knee. They brought in Bryce Harris. He went down early in the game, and William Robinson had to finish.
Streif up, going off under his own power. You hang your hat on that graphic with 3:42 remaining here, trailing by 10.
If you're a Saints fan, you say come back and win this darn game.
They've got the right guy to do it. Breeze throws, knocked down, getting a hand on it, Chris Owens, or it would have been a big gainer to Henderson.
That's the third or fourth play Chris Owens has made tonight, and another Drew Brees miss. There's separation here. That ball's got to be complete. The safety's not getting over top. That's a great job hustling his tail back there and getting just a piece by Christopher Owens. Remember, he's in the game for Samuel,
right,
who was hurt early on.
The Saints offense has converted 5 situations tonight of 3rd and 8 or longer. 3rd and 10 here. Breeze, pressure coming. Bierman's got a hold of him. The ball is intercepted. Picked off by Babineau. Bierman with the pressure, and Jonathan Babineau with the interception.
Yeah, it's a corner blitz. Chris Owens is coming off the edge right here, but it's Babineau that wins. Sproles steps in, the tackle Streif misses his block, and look at that acrobatic catch by Jonathan Babineau, who I think is one of the most underappreciated defensive linemen in the league. He plays inside, he plays outside, and he plays them both equally well.
He had a fumble return for a touchdown against the Cardinals that helped the Falcons win. That interception might do the same tonight. Turner to the line of scrimmage, maybe a yard.
Yeah, they're holding them up and trying to strip them.
And the officials trying to separate them right now.
I don't know, Brad. -4 turnover differential pretty much spells defeat at any level of football.
I would think it's 90% probably.
Yeah, maybe higher. I know Mike Smith has got a huge record, not only in the 4th quarter, but when he wins the turnover differential battle.
Yep. Career tying 4 interceptions by Drew Brees tonight. Michael Turner. This time positive yardage inside the 30. Vilma's got a hold of him. Turner's still not going down, and the ball came out at the end.
Boy.
And the Saints come out of the pile.
They didn't blow a whistle.
Bush is going down the sideline, and he's in unless the whistle sounded.
I watched the referee closest to that pile. When he picked the ball up and ran, he didn't do anything. This is where they teach these officials to let the replay officials sort it out.
Way back at the 30, they're having a conference right now.
Okay, now this is where Michael Turner's got to know. We love effort and toughness, but look at Jenkins trying to strip the ball. It's still in. Now, at what point do you blow the whistle and say forward progress, because that ball's clearly out while he's standing up. There is no doubt the football's out. The question is, did anybody blow a whistle stopping forward progress?
And the officials now huddled on the other end of the field.
There comes the ball. It's out. And what did we talk about the snap before that? They're holding them up, trying to strip the ball out. That's good, solid, well-taught defense.
Previous play is under review.
If there's no whistle there, that's going to be touchdown Saints.
Now, was Bush down also? That's the other thing. Was he down right there by contact?
Exactly.
We'll clear it up when we come back. Whoa. Your first reaction, Mike, is to think that Michael Turner's forward progress had been stopped and that you were probably going to hear a whistle somewhere in there. Then the ball comes out, and when it's covered by Bush, did a Falcon make contact with him when it hit the deck right there?
Yeah, Michael Johnson, who jumped in there, number 79, made contact. So if the whistle didn't blow, stopping forward progress, and here comes, you can see the blue beanbag come in right there. When that beanbag comes in, it signifies fumble. But there is contact, so if no whistles blow, it's New Orleans ball at that spot.
That's the best the Falcons can hope for right now.
Yeah, unless a whistle blew and one of those refs stands up and said, hey, I stopped the play.
And quite frankly, we can't tell you that until Scott Green tells us.
Right.
Carl Madsen's the replay official. So a huge review and a huge call coming up, no matter who you're cheering for in the game. I couldn't hear a whistle there.
There was the whistle when he was down. I think that, this looks like New Orleans ball. Now they just got to figure out what yard and how much time on the clock. But hold on to your hats, Brad, because this thing might still have a finish to it.
Yep. They almost always do, don't they?
Jeez. -4 turnover differential might have just changed.
If it's a touchdown, it's a 3-point game. If it's a Saints ball, we've still got a lot of football left. They have 2 timeouts to work with and the 2-minute warning. If they get the ball where we think the beanbag was thrown and that some contact was made. But again, this one's taken a long time, and we can't guess. We can only tell you what we think we saw. Let's see what Scott Green thinks the official upstairs saw.
After reviewing the play, after the player fumbled and the ball was recovered by New Orleans, the player was touched down by contact. It's New Orleans ball, 1st and 10 at the 29.5. Please reset the game clock to 2 minutes and 33 seconds.
There's your explanation. Pretty much what we thought. Wow.
Michael Turner, man, the only thing that can be on your mind is holding on to that football, but give these guys from New Orleans credit. They held them up, and every single guy was trying to rip that ball out.
So Drew Brees on the offense for the Saints from the 30-yard line.
They got Bierman and Abraham at defensive ends with Babineau inside and Peters. That's their best 4 natural pass rushes.
Graham, the tight end, on a slot to the left side as Brees drops to throw. Down the middle he goes and is complete to the 45 to Moore again. 15-yard pickup. And for Moore, his 7th catch of the night, and he's over 100 yards.
Man, it better not play too softly here. He'll carve him up.
Maybe the final play before the 2-minute warning. Down the middle and broken up. Stephen Nicholas got a hand in on Jimmy Graham.
Really nice job by Stephen Nicholas.
The Atlanta linebackers, knowing they're going to have their hands full with number 80 tonight. Nice job there.
Yep, crosses the face and strips it.
2:06 remaining. from the 45. 2nd and 10. Breeze wants to throw a middle screen, and it's intercepted again. Corey Peters. And that could be ball game. 5 interceptions of Drew Brees.
Offside. Defense.
Oh, man.
Number 55. 5-yard penalty. 2nd down.
John Abraham's offside. Forget the interception. 2-minute warning. Can this one get any crazier in the next 2 minutes? Stay with us. We'll all find out together. 23-13 Atlanta. Let's check in with Rich Eisen.
Getting ready for the K-Jewelers post-game show. Not only is the Saints season on the line right now, Brad, but so is Drew Brees' remarkable NFL record consecutive game streak with at least 1 touchdown pass.
It stands at 54. He'd certainly like 55 to come in the next couple of minutes. 2nd and 5 at midfield. Brees going deep, sideline, and it is intercepted by William Moore. Are you kidding me?
William Moore came from a long way away on the double move.
Impossible.
That's pretty good coverage by Dante Robinson, and Moore coming from the middle of the field. Now watch Dante run with him. This is pretty good coverage here from the right side. I think he catches it cleanly, gets 2 or 3 feet down. Now you want to ask about the contact between Colston and Robinson. I've got no problem with that because Dante Robinson had inside position. He's got as much right to the flight of the ball as the wide receiver does.
Never has Drew Brees thrown 5 interceptions in a game. William Moore tonight, 11 tackles and 2 interceptions. I thought we'd seen all the craziness. 1 interception taken away by Corey Peters, and then William Moore. And that NFL touchdown record that Rich was talking about is 1:52 away from going by the boards. And now Jacquizz Rodgers, the tailback in the eye, and he's going to get the carry.
Put it away.
And he stood up
Yep.
and knocked back, but he got 4 yards. Saints, 2 timeouts remaining.
So who do you give the MVP to? This was to me a defensive game all night long. And what did we say about Mike Nolan early in the game?
I was going to say Mike Nolan.
A lot of yards, but not many points. And I'm telling you, Mike Nolan to me is the MVP tonight. Tell Rich Eisen and the guys get him on the set.
Yeah, exactly. We're watching a future Hall of Famer have a tough night, Drew Brees. Next week, we're going to see a future Hall of Famer play in the same quarterback position. Peyton Manning and the Broncos heading to Oakland to take on the Raiders. AFC West matchup next Thursday night, 8 o'clock. Exclusively on NFL Network. Hope you join us.
All of a sudden, Eric Decker and Demaryius Thomas have gotten pretty good, huh?
Yes, how about that? 2nd down at 6. Saints can only stop it 1 more time, and Quiz Rodgers has a 1st down.
That's a sweet cut, too, man.
And now a little bit of talking going on between Jenkins and Rodgers.
Sweet cut.
And every time Quiz Rodgers talks to somebody, it's right about chest high. So New Orleans uses its final timeout. Drew Brees, never before in his brilliant career has things gone like this. Deku with the 1st one.
Yeah, he couldn't get him out of the middle of the field. Then he threw it behind his tailback in the flat ivory. This one, to me, that was a no-brainer. William Moore baited the trap in his own coverage. Steps up through it. Ball gets tipped. Great play by Babineau, defensive tackle. And I love this. Good coverage by the corner, but how about William Moore coming over top, completing a huge game for the safety.
That's the last time the Saints can stop the clock. And the fans in Atlanta who have been waiting to see this, a win over the Saints for so long, finally get their wish. Hard fought again, as it's been so many times through 88 meetings. Some craziness near the end. And Atlanta is going to survive with a 10-point victory. And I said to you, partner, yesterday, Nobody believes in the Falcons at 10-1 because of all the close wins. And I said if they win by 7 or 10, do people start jumping on the bandwagon?
They'll be breaking ankles jumping on and off these bandwagons for the next several weeks of the NFL season. That's
the Saints' playoff hopes might have just completely disappeared tonight. Atlanta's just got rosier. By the way, if Tampa Bay loses this weekend, the Falcons have the division title by virtue of this win tonight. Matt Ryan, victory formation. He'll take a knee with the guys, Rich and the guys, when it's over as well. Well, Drew Brees said coming in, we own this division, and they know it. And now around Curtis Lofton, some of his ex-teammates saying, you know what, we didn't mean any disrespect last time. And though these are always special moments between the Falcons and the Saints, at least for this night, the Falcons own the division, or at least their own house. They win it at the Dome, 23-13. Matt Ryan will be with Rich and the guys when we return. The Falcons are 11-1. That's the best in the business. We'll be back in a minute with a Kay Jewelers postgame show featuring highlights, analysis, interviews, and press conferences. Stick around. For Matt Mayock, Alex Flanagan, Brad Nessler from the Georgia Dome, Falcons win by 10.